Good day, everybody. This is David Ellis, and I'm back once again with another UCM Vibe Show. In studio today, we have a very special topic, and a topic that will be interesting to a lot of the people who are practicing holistic medicine out there. And the topic is the disconnect between the holistic and the medicine. I brought somebody special who's been a fan of Andrew's and who's been a mentorship student and who also has his own practice. He practices traditional Chinese medicine. His name is Shawn Bibby. I'm going to bring him on screen right now.
Ooh,
Shawn, tell us about yourself.
What's that, David? Tell me about myself.
Yeah, tell us everything.
All right. So I'm Shawn Bibby. I'm just about to start my own company called My Infinite Health. But I've been studying Chinese medicine for 3 years. And I've just got my acupuncture diploma and license. And I'm almost finishing my advanced degree, which is a 5-year academic degree that's just crunched together in 3.5 years.
That's impressive. I suppose my first question is that's a lot of studying. So, how does traditional Chinese medicine, which is what you study, TCM, how does it fit into the whole idea of holistic medicine? When we say holistic medicine, what does that mean even?
Ooh, holistic medicine. And I like to think of it with a W, like holistic, because one of the big things that Chinese medicine still has intact and how they heal as part of a medicine is that they treat the emotions and the physical body simultaneously, and they're not separated.
Mhm.
One is intrinsically attached to the other, and it makes a very important difference when you go to treat.
Okay, when you say it treats the emotions, what are we looking at? Break it down for me with like an illustration of what I mean. I come into you and I'm complaining like lower back pain. Tell me what goes through your head.
First thing, when you got lower back pain, I'm going to start wondering about your body's resources,
Hmm.
or if you're in chronic fear and in a fight or flight state all the
Hmm.
time. Because basically, what I'm thinking about when it comes to emotions, and we're breaking it down in the yin yang theory, but
Hmm.
just opposites. It's like, which direction does that emotion go? So, like, back pain is associated with the kidneys, and
Hmm.
that is a sinking energy. So that's kind of like a way that I'm starting to look at things.
Okay,
Which way does emotion go? Does it go up? Does it go down? Does it go in? Does it go out?
all right. So the thing about holistic medicine is that it's run very much counterproductive to the whole traditional medicine, and there has been a lot of backlash from the traditional medicine community, right? But then you tell me that you've been studying for like God knows how long, and you have like 3 more years.
No, no, no. I'm almost done.
You're almost
Sorry,
done.
maybe I said that a little bit differently,
Yeah,
but
but you've been in it for 3 years, right?
yes.
That's a lot of studying. Okay.
Brains, I'm done studying. Time for some
What
practical application.
Before I go to the traditional medicine disconnect, I want you to tell me what's included in that course. What is it that you guys learn?
Fantastic. And this is one of the best part about anyone learning traditional Chinese medicine in North America
Hmm.
is that it covers everything. Because it essentially covers acupuncture, it covers herbal medicine, it covers tuina, which is massage, it was kind of a special Chinese massage and body adjustments.
Hmm.
It's called adjustments. We have moxibustion, which is treating with fire, like a little warms the body. And then you have cupping. So, and not to mention, you learn how to diagnose
Hmm.
through Chinese medicine, which is very important. So those are just 5 of the main figureheads that we learn in school.
Okay, so there's the diagnostic and then there's the prescriptive. You gave me the prescriptive, and you diagnose based on on what criteria?
Everything. So if you've ever had a first consultation with a lot of Chinese medicine practitioners, they'll go through your whole body. They'll ask you like your head, your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your shoulders, your chest, your, you know, your abdomen, just top to bottom, inside and out. We'll ask questions about everything, and just it changes over time as you become a more developed practitioner. So you can just follow what you find the most important. But you really got to look at everything and see what's disproportionate from everything else.
Shawn, how did you end up in this course of study? I want to know the background.
Love it. I know, right? So, for the longest time since I graduated high school, which is over a decade ago, I was a carpenter. So, I grew up like with a long line of handymen and people do it yourselfers.
Hmm.
But I didn't see myself doing this whatsoever. But really, what happened, I just started getting some pretty bad body aches and pains, low
Hmm.
back pain, nagging shoulder pain, and ended up like just separating my life and becoming off the grid and being very naturalistic. let's just call it that for the better of 5 years. But
Okay.
that that really made a big spread for me because it connected me with different people that if I was still in my small bubble of reality, I never would have met them. And so as that festered over time, and literally over time, it did start to fester a little bit. Um, Andrew actually got me on the Chinese medicine. On our very first call, he convinced me that I could become a doctor in 3 years. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? And then 3 years later, pretty damn close.
Wow. Okay. So you made that leap and so on. But why holistic medicine? Why not, I don't know, become a massage therapist or Reiki
Well,
practitioner or something
that
like that?
was, of course, everyone when they get into spirituality, and I'm not knocking it, wants to become a Reiki practitioner. But
Hmm.
it is great because you can get it over a few weekend segments. But frankly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And
Hmm.
frankly, I didn't know squat damn about what Chinese medicine even was. Because when it started, I was just, I was first going to do massage, just going to learn myofascial therapy. But then when I really opened up the cover and saw what Chinese medicine was, it really, really started intriguing me. Because I found out that it was actually learning applied philosophy. Like I've always wanted to learn philosophy ever since I was like in high school, but I didn't realize how I could make a living with it.
Yeah, well, my minor is in philosophy, so let's philosophize together. Let's talk about the philosophy of TCM
Right?
and
Yeah.
so on. Okay, so you talk about the yin and yang. Talk to us more about that concept.
Okay. Yin and yang, and just really thinking which way do emotions go?
Hmm.
Like anger. Like just I'm just gonna give some simple throw out some basics for people just to just think about because we've all experienced them before. But what happens? Which way does anger go when you get really angry? And is it hot or cold? Because like if you've ever heard the expression someone's really hot headed, anger tends to bring person's energy all up to their head.
Hmm.
So they get hot, they get flushed, they get lots of energy.
Hmm.
Where other certain emotions will bring energy down. So
Hmm.
it's basically is anger cold or is anger hot? Because heat tends to rise and cold sinks.
Hmm.
Cold goes down, hot goes up. And then just what does the emotion do? Because it's like, it's when you get a sudden fright, you have that sinking feeling and
Hmm.
everything rushes down. Or you have the expression, someone has cold feet before their wedding day. Or we literally use these expressions all the time.
Now you see, I'm getting an education because I've always wanted somebody to break that down for me. And so when you're doing the diagnostic aspect of TCM, what are the tests that you put people through? You just ask them questions, or how does that work?
It's, see, the thing, this is the beautiful liberty of being a Chinese medicine practitioner,
Hmm.
that it's part the Wild West in North America. It's pretty much the status quo in some of the Asian countries. But here it's still kind of getting its footing. So you can kind of take it any direction that you really want to.
Hmm.
So there's different schools. Like some people, pure interrogation. Some people will do it just by pulse. And So also in school, I should say this now, that we also learn pulse diagnosis with three
Uh-huh.
fingers, and we learn tongue diagnosis, which is very important.
Oh, okay. I what does that look like? I have so many questions. Now you've opened up
You're
a
opening
can
up
of worms.
Pandora's box, bud.
I have so many questions. Okay, so you have tongue diagnosis. What you're looking at the parts of the tongue? You're looking at whether the tongue is moist. What are we looking at?
Kinda. Well, like, so these are the things a lot of people just overlook, especially in Western medicine. They don't look at a person's tongue whatsoever.
Hmm.
So basically, you want to look at it. What color is it? Is it bright red? So what is bright red? We already know this. Bright red's going to be really hot. Is it purple? And that purple usually indicates a blood stagnation, which is usually a heat mixed with a cold. Or is it really dull and colorless? So that means it's lacking in blood. So it's on the colder side, it's lacking in energy. And so if it's on a duller color, it's lacking blood, it's also lacking heat, because blood is something that brings warmth continuously. And then we're looking, is it shriveled? Is it really big and swollen? Is there
Hmm.
too little fluids? Is there too much fluids? Is there a big crack on it? Where is the crack? Is there red dots on the tip? Are there red dots on the side? Is it got a no coating whatsoever? Or is it covered in thick, greasy, sticky tongue looking coating?
Yeah. So, small disclosure: I did do some training in holistic medicine and stuff. So basically, you're looking at the body's reporting systems,
Yeah,
right?
you're kind of looking at everything. I'm trying to integrate this into Chinese medicine, but it looks at everything quite holographically. And
Hmm.
that's where every system contains its microsystem. So you can diagnose the whole body through the tongue. You can diagnose the whole body through the pulse. You got hand practitioners, foot practitioners, reflexology, iridology. Certain people become really good at it. It's because each system contains the whole system within it if you know how to interpret it properly.
Yeah, I can understand that absolutely. So, Sean, I gotta ask a question. You have like spirituality as part of your interests. When you are practicing, do the two combine in any way?
Oh, they exponentially. And I feel like I'm so gifted and blessed right now having that coming in behind it, because it seems like everybody in acupuncture kind of has that inside them a little bit, and it
Hmm.
might be just budding and growing into their spirituality, or they're fighting some walls that they've had over time with spirituality. But I came with it with no expectations behind when I started, and
Hmm.
it's really helped me diagnose. It takes a lot of the pressure off, because when you understand some of the deeper philosophies, the less you do ends up being more. It's kind of what you bring to the table is
Hmm.
really, really important.
All right. So you just came back from a tour to Scotland,
Mm. Yeah, that
right?
was
You
that was
had
something.
you had the experience of a Lucia Light, PMF. You were with Andrew and the rest of the gang, the This
19 of
gang.
us, 19 of us super people. And
Tell me about that.
can you just imagine what it's, have you ever heard of the book or the movie or the saying, meeting of great minds?
Yes.
And I'm getting goosebumps now as I say it, because this was my personal meeting of great minds. And
Hmm.
they were all my family. Each one of them, it was like we already knew each other. And
Hmm.
each one was a superluminal thinker. So each one brought this bright light to the table. And as we all sat down for the Last Supper, or the beginning of the First Supper, you know, just it's just so bright, and you leave with that feeling. You leave with that collaborative conglomerate of energy, and it's kind of like the new Auntie now. It's like, oh, this is what it looks like. This is how it shines. And
That,
just to say a little bit about it, but
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking you this specifically is because everybody on that tour had some experience in some kind of therapy or another, which was actually very interesting that all of you guys got together. And that was obviously a very good opportunity and experience for you,
And
right?
also a huge age dichotomy between everyone. Like there was, I think I was actually the youngest of everybody, and then up to 70s. So we just had this big spread. We had young energy, grandmother energy, and each person was capable of doing both at the same time.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, so talk to me about the disconnect between the traditional forms of or approaches towards, well, I shouldn't say medicine, more like healing,
Mm.
and the holistic medicine, because everything you just said, somebody out there is in medical school is cringing. So let's hear it.
What's an aura? Like, what's a meridian? But really, because of the internet and so many great minds, meeting a great minds and
Mhm,
pornography, but you know what the internet does? Like the internet is connecting everything. And
yes.
it's a highway that you can take it wherever you want to go if you
Hmm.
don't get distracted of whatever blockades are along the way. But just learning electricity, learning about the aura as a magnetic field, and learning about circuitry. And the more you learn about circuits and electricity and learn a little bit of electrical engineering, you'll find that anytime there's a circuit, it creates a magnetic field around it. And just we have so many different types of circuitry within our body. We have so many different organ systems,
Hmm.
channel systems that are each insulated differently and have a completely different resonance, which each have their own magnetic field with them. So we're getting to be able to break things down into magnetics,
Hmm.
but not to dispel the magic from them.
Yeah. So what is this disconnect that happened? Because a lot of people don't understand that Hippocrates was the father of modern medicine. He was a spiritually gifted person as well. And so I think a lot of the times people tend to look at holistic medicine practitioners. And the thing about it is that you guys have been studying and you all refine your craft and stuff like that, right? You obviously are very much into what it is that you're doing.
Hmm.
How do you make that discussion? Let's say I'm a medical doctor and I reach the limits of what I can do for a client. That's what
Yeah,
usually happens. And I say, well,
and
you
I'm
try
not.
something else.
You
Try
wouldn't
something. Go ahead. Go ahead,
you
Sean.
wouldn't believe how much I hear, from nurses and doctors already. They just say, you know what, we're not be able to do anything, but we keep getting great results with the acupuncturists. So maybe go see an acupuncturist.
That
Hear it
is
all the
correct.
time, or from nurses because there's quite a lot of nurses that come through, and they just say they have patients that have tried everything, and then all of a sudden they see really fast changes when they go see a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, or just
Yeah.
something outside of the hospital setting, or
Uh-huh.
outside of the help that they're not getting.
Listen, I got injured once, and I remember a doctor wanted to cut open my back, and it was trapped. I trapped some nerves at the bottom of my back. Right. It took hatha yoga. It took TCM acupuncture actually to help me manage the pain. I chose not to go the operation route. All right. That was the best decision of my young life. I'm telling you that right now
Just
because
being a
you never.
wee tot.
Yeah, because you're never the same after that. A back operation, you're not the same.
No, you have like your fascia has a long hard time rebuilding. Like those slices through the skin,
Yep.
like your energy escape, but also just your collagen fibers that you have, unique fibers. They it's like this big block. They have a hard time recombining after that, so they have to go around it. So it's like a big detour of electrical information, sound
Okay.
information.
Yeah, I honestly have a problem with massive intervention. Okay. People never see their healing as a step by step process. They just want the problem gone now. And that's a real problem that we're having. Okay. Because in my case, I had to take a little pain to learn a lesson. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
I had to take a little pain to learn to learn a lesson. But most people, once the doctor said, you know what, I'm going to cut open your back and take this out and screw this in there and do
And
that,
they
and
say, that's exactly what I wanted you to say, Doc.
I just said that's exactly, and then everything would be fine. Listen, I've heard some horror stories. I've heard some horror stories. People who went to dance, ballet as an example, very strict form ballet, and they developed back pain. And then the doctor said to them, okay, there's a degeneration in the L bones and S bones, okay? And we're gonna go in there and we're gonna like screw some stuff up, take out this and put some stuff back together. They're still on pain killing medication.
Yikes. Because the quick question is, what is preventing this from healing? It's like, what is the root cause and what is the branch effect? It's
You see,
also
that doesn't
something
happen. That
we're
doesn't
talking
happen.
about. But with what you were saying before, something that is quite great about the modern or Western medicine system is they do treat trauma really
Mhm.
well. Like just what's the darn word? Like radical trauma. Like just when someone gets in a car accident and fixing them up before their soul completely leaves their body and they don't come back. It's really good at mending things quickly.
It's good at mending things quickly. The problem that I see a lot of the times, so let's say that you go to a doctor as an example, and you have, I don't know, you have back pain, like we just said in the
Mm.
other side of the fence. The doctor's not going to ask you, so how's your life been lately? Are you stressed? However, that person will leave the doctor and end up in my office. I'm a psychotherapist. You get my point?
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm.
I will ask this person, so how's your life been lately? Are you stressed? Right? You left one place to come here for me to ask you the same question, right? And this is what I mean by a disconnect,
Yes.
right?
Because frankly, they don't have time. They don't have time to do all the simple things that need to get done. Very simple things that put someone on the track to healing. Like just getting a massage. Like if you went to the hospital and got a massage, well, people would be getting a lot better. Or they'd be lining up to get their massages. But these simple things would improve it a lot. And something that's overlooked, just for anyone who has back pain out there,
Mhm.
and you often hear about degenerative discs and how they're together and they're grinding on each other. Well, what supports the discs? Muscles. And so the question is asked: why are the muscles so exhausted?
Mhm.
Why are the muscles so exhausted that they can't support space between the bones? And that's usually because they've just been worked ragged.
Correct. So I'm going to challenge you on a subject matter.
Woo.
So I knew someone who practiced Reiki.
Mm.
Okay. The reason why a lot of people have issues with holistic medicine is they say that it's unscientific. I'll give you an example of what I mean. I've done many things in my life that helped me study human anatomy. Okay, all
It's
right.
very
I have
helpful.
I have been from the training aspect, from the holistic medicine aspect, massage therapy school, and all of these things required me, and even the yoga teacher training as well. All of these things required me to learn anatomy. There was a client who had a stroke. She couldn't lift her arm.
Mm.
Okay? The Reiki practitioner was providing Reiki to the arm. You see the problem,
Maybe.
right? The Reiki practitioner is providing Reiki to her arm, right? So I felt it necessary to ask a question. The stroke originates in the brain, okay? It's deft to a part of the brain. You probably might want to work on that. You know what the answer was? The answer was the Reiki energy intelligently knows where to go. Now, this is why a
I
lot of
love
people
this.
This is why a lot of people have issues with holistic medicine. It is in everybody's best interest because you know what I've been trying to do for the last 10 years is try to build that bridge between the scientific community and the
Mm.
spiritual community, the alternative community. Because a bridge has to be built because there's a disconnect right now which is doing a disservice to people. Because if I go to a doctor's office and he has 7 patients waiting, and I'm giving shit to both sides of the fence, right?
Because
And
you get so much healing done when you're sitting there waiting.
okay, full disclosure, Shawn and I are in Canada together. You know that if you go to certain doctors' offices, they have 3 offices partitioned, three offices. So they jump from one office to the other office to the other office, right? And they see 3 patients at a time to maximize profit gains.
And the best part is that the 10 minutes that you're going to see your doctor, you might be there for 2.5 hours. You're
Waiting,
almost 10
waiting,
times, 10 times more time waiting than doing.
right?
And
So
that
you
you should ask a few questions, but it usually just gets the person frustrated, and then they grumble and complain, and it creates this whole feedback loop cycle.
no, we want to get into that because that's a disservice to your client. So you're seeing 3 people on the go at the same time. You're jumping from one office to the other office to the other office, right? And when you get into one office, you see the person and you are supposed to make a diagnosis within 10 minutes
Mm.
of seeing that person. There
I got
is
a
no
word for this already, David. I call them wartime practitioners.
correct.
It's something where you got all these wounded men or warriors, and they're just like, well, cut this and do this, and I think it's the remnants of that still happening.
All right. But Shawn, the thing about it is you cannot make an accurate diagnosis in that time. You're making a diagnosis based on what presents to you, right? But we know, and it's not even a we know, this is common sense. What presents to you when you meet a person is often not what really is.
True.
And you're not going to
Lots
discover
of
that
layers to people.
in 10 minutes, right? So there is that aspect. There is that aspect. So obviously, people will leave the office because it's just another way of making people feel not seen and not heard.
Mm. And here's something to interject with that, David. It's just so when they go to give this diagnosis and this treatment for this person that they've only seen for 10 minutes, they're giving them something not in the now. They're almost usually giving them absolutely nothing in the moment. Like just they might give them a placebo because they're so upset that like if they don't give the patient will get upset. Like if they don't give the patient something, the patient will get upset that they invested that time and didn't get anything. So that's one of those things in the 10 minutes. So many times they're just trying to do something for the future
Mm-hmm.
without even doing anything in the present moment, which is a very important moment.
Or pacification medicine, what I call
Yeah.
pacification. Let me explain pacification medicine to you. You come to me, I'm not feeling so great, I'm feeling blah and so on. Here's some Brosac and call me in the morning. No,
So
no.
you're taking the time when the person's finally decided that they need to do something about their issue. This is when they're finally emotionally charged up enough to try to make a difference with themselves. And then as soon as you're in that moment, you put it you throw it again. You kick the can further down the road. At the moment of when it's supposed to happen.
Here's the funny thing about it. Because if I was a doctor in that position and somebody says I feel blah, I am not giving them medication. I'm going to suggest that they go see a counselor, go see someone and work it out. If that
Yeah.
person is coming to you and the person feels under the weather and so on, one of the worst things that has happened, I can't say it's the worst thing. I shouldn't say it's the worst thing. But I have to be very careful with my words. Let me be very careful. Is the doctor's ability to give sick leave to individuals and still have them paid. Because
Mm-hmm.
people have been abusing that system for a while. Okay?
Yeah,
People have
you
been
better get
abusing
my
that
work
system for
comp.
a while, I'm telling you. All right? People will go ahead and tell a doctor, I want to
Some
kill
people might
myself.
need it, but I know what you mean.
right? People go ahead and say, tell the doctor, I want to kill myself. Now, the problem is that they don't want to go to work, right? The problem
Hmm.
is that they want to survive. So there's a disconnect there. But what they should be doing is working on themselves to make themselves more flexible internally to handle the pressures of work.
Yes, and evaluating what's making things so dreadful. What's making that work so absolutely terrible that they just want to completely give up, just
Correct.
stop cold turkey. Because we have this very, it's like a rule in Chinese medicine that
Hmm.
the blood follows the qi. So the blood follows qi.
Hmm.
So whenever you're thinking about something, the blood will go there. So if you're thinking about work all the time when you're at home or just all through the day, your
Hmm.
blood's still going to go to those work muscles. Even when you're sitting on your couch watching TV, you're just still thinking about work, it's still going to use all those same muscles and exhaust them over and over and over again. And then we have all the thoughts in the unseen parts of the body, like the subconscious and deep subconscious parts of the body in the nervous system. And that's going to bring a shitload more blood. And it'll exhaust people over the time because you just can't keep throwing blood. You can't keep throwing blood at it. It'll get exhausted and it'll lose its charge.
I can imagine. And that's a very true statement. And for those of you who uh, doubt what Shawn is saying, think of the one particular situation where your thoughts are going to a particular activity and blood follows that activity,
Very fastly sometimes. Yeah,
right?
tried and true example. What
So
David
he's
just mentioned.
absolutely 100% correct. And then think of it in reverse. Think of it, you're stressing over a whole bunch of things. Guess where you're not, you're feeling the pressure. You know where you feel the pressure.
Yep, and we
So
have
that is a
90.
true statement.
We got 90% of those things in the subconscious too, and that brings
Correct.
just as much blood as what you're actually thinking about. All the things that you've just thrown a pile of forgetfulness over top.
You know, and here's the things you have to deal with human strategies. This is the trickiest thing in holistic medicine, I find. The human strategies for masking the stuff that's going on with them. Someone will present to you as absolutely fine. They will come in front of you and say, I'm absolutely fine. I'm the peak of my health. All right. They might even do jumping jacks in your office. Right. These
Mhm.
are the masks that people wear when they're absolutely not fine. And I suspect that's where you check the body's reporting systems, because like the eyes don't lie, the tongue doesn't lie, and like a lot of things don't lie.
And you got to know this like well enough doing what you're doing. The voice.
Yep.
Oh my God! So many times, like people will trip over certain words or certain subject matters. Like they'll be talking really fine until they're talking about their latest project and they can't get the word out, or just they talk about a spouse or a partner and their voice just sinks. But if someone talks about something what they really like, they get live and animated. You can just tell which way the energy's going in the process.
Yes, and this is a lesson for you guys who are out there. When you're talking to people, you gotta observe what is happening. 90% of communication is not what's coming out of that person's mouth. It is the transmission that that person is trying to put out. And yes, this is a spiritual construct, but it's also a very physical construct, because let me tell you, in a conversation with somebody, people will be literally transmitting pheromones and a whole bunch of other things at you.
Mm-hmm.
And if,
Electrons.
and if you are not picking up what they're putting down, so to speak, then you're being a brick. Okay? Because what you don't understand is the thing that will cause a problem. Exactly.
Mm.
Let me give you an example of miscommunication. There was a book that was written some years ago called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
uh, uh, yeah,
I
right
could
back to 7 years old.
yeah, yeah. I could have retitled that book like what human beings don't get. All right, that's basically it. And so holistic medicine takes into account. I think that we are all healers to a certain extent. A lot of people do not
Yeah.
realize their potential as healers. Okay, your mother was your healer up until a certain time, right? She wasn't qualified and she didn't have a lab coat, but she was your healer up until a certain time. So, Shawn, I want to talk about the kind of social interaction where people heal each other.
Yep.
Okay, from a TCM point of view, I will say this, but there's a disconnect once again between what is holistic and what is healing or medicine. It assumes that there are only special people that can heal. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the first disconnect.
Right.
Everybody who is born in this creation has an ability to heal at some level of themselves. But unless you're wearing a white lab coat and you have a certificate on the wall, you ain't going to do it. But mother didn't have that choice. When you fell, she had to pick you up and hug you.
Mhm.
How can people,
This little band-aid.
yes, exactly. How can people improve themselves so that the society heals? Because if everybody became aware or cognizant of their ability to heal somebody, like I went to Walmart just now, there's a bunch of Walmart workers. I make it a point, Shawn, okay?
Yep.
I make it a point to smile at least one Walmart worker because you know that person is having a shit day.
Uh-huh.
You know that person is having a shit day. Every day is a shit day. You got people coming into Walmart and
Yeah.
they're not the most healed people that are in Walmart. And
I
you
want to
try
return
to smile
this.
to that
What
person.
do you mean, sir? There's nothing in there. Like, who knows the Walmart stories though?
Right, yes. And you smile at that person. How can people who are interacting in society do something to help other people? If it's a small thing, what are your suggestions?
Mm-hmm. Well, acknowledge them and don't put too much emphasis on what they are or what they think they are. Just kind of say something friendly. Just say something that off the top of your head. Just be a little vulnerable in the conversation, and you'll either get shrugged off or someone will be like, "Hey, that was cool that we had this little interaction," and something cool might come from it.
Yes, because you don't know what kind of day that person is having, right? And the truth
And
of the
don't
matter
take it
is,
personal. Like,
yeah,
just and then you'll do the same thing the next day, and the person will just get a real rise out of it and laugh with you, and you have a buddy buddy moment.
a lot of people don't see that. People are too much connected to the outcome of their efforts. Okay. So, as an example, if you smile at somebody and they don't smile back, as an example, and you're connected to that, you're doing damage to yourself and so on. This is the thing that happens on a social level. The reason why I'm talking about this on a social level is because the world is a bit in a state right now. There is tension in the air. You live in Toronto.
Good old Toronto.
You gotta step out into that city, and I know what that is like. I know what it's like, Shawn. All right. When last
It's
have you taken the
hustling and
subway?
bustling. Oh, the subway, the hallway of ghosts, or what do I call it? But it's just it's full of ghosts down there. It's quite the
When
place.
last have you taken the subway? There's not a lot of. Listen, even if we could duplicate you 1,000 times, there won't be enough of you to heal that city. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry to have to say that. So yeah, here's the point.
David's got some Toronto issues. Everybody,
You think? You think? Listen,
how many years were
we
you
don't even
living out
want to
here,
go
Dave?
there. What?
How many years were you living out here?
16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, wowzer.
Yeah,
And I'm just
yeah.
about to get some rental real estate, like just my own little clinic space.
You're buying. Okay.
No,
Oh,
I'm
that,
not.
that-
I can't.
okay.
I wish. But you're just my own little mad lab to practice on people on a nice busy place, nice busy walkway,
Mm.
East Toronto.
You know what we're going to do, right? We're going to have a post establishment of practice interview, like about like 6 months in,
Mm.
and we're going to have another interview, and you're going to let me know how it's going, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I
Okay,
don't
so
know what it is right now, but things are really just. I've been trying to do something since January,
uh
and you know how finding real estate and or just the realty market and just what's there and what's not, and all of a sudden the last 2 weeks things have just been moving along fast.
good, absolutely. Right. So what do you attribute that to?
You know, we're in the harvest season almost, so all my hard work from this whole year, you know, that's kind of what August is about. Everything's blossoming, it's ripening. So my hard work and efforts are just energetically paying off because I've been physically trying to do this and make this shape energetically first, and now my blood's actually following the pathway and my whole body along with it.
Yeah, I
So
did. I actually did an interview with people. Manifestation is such a weird thing. When you put your energy behind things and they suddenly begin to come to fruition. It's exciting, isn't it?
it's so exciting because this is, yeah, like three and a half years. Uh, well, I guess it's just been. I still have a bit more school, but 3 years in the school, it's a long time.
Hmm. All right. Let's get to the next section of this.
Yeah, what do we got?
What self-care practices can you give people that will actually allow them to be a little bit healthier?
Okay. So what we can do, get outside, get in the nature. There's so many things for each individual, but
Mhm.
get a little foot bath. Just put some salts in it. Just do something that you like. Find something you actually like to do that's outside of your routine
Mhm.
and go do that. Just get out of your comfort zone a little bit here and there. You know,
Okay.
you can do self massage, but it'll feel a lot better if you get someone else to do it.
Mhm.
Little nips and tricks. Go out, watch a movie, watch a comedy show. If you if you cook at home all the time, go get food out once in a while. If you buy food out all the time, maybe
Mhm.
cook something at home. Just try to balance the excesses and the deficiencies.
Ah,
Is one of the primal principles of Chinese medicine.
you said something very important there, the concept of balance, which I don't think most people actually have a lot of balance. I think a lot of people think that they have balance because they have stability. People mistake stability for balance. Nothing is going wrong, therefore I am balanced.
Yeah, stability can be a prime example of an excess. Because usually excesses are things that we do over and over and over and over and over again,
Mhm.
and the deficiency is all the things that we just don't have time and never do because we're doing this one. We're doing the stable things all the time over and over and over again,
Yeah.
just repeating ourselves.
I think people have a lot of people live in fear. So, Sean, the next question I suppose I have in the last 3 years, we've been graced with something that has hit the entire planet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Brought the entire planet to a standstill. The fear and the shock from that is still reverberating
Big
to this
ripples
day. Every healer
everywhere.
I have spoken to, and I speak to many, many healers on a daily basis. Every healer that I have spoken to says, yeah, this stuff is not over. It's not over. People still have trauma. People still have
Well,
side effects,
here's
and
the
so
shit.
on.
Some of the best healers have got so entangled in it that they've stopped cold turkey in their evolution.
Mhm.
So like, because you got to be able to get beyond this to heal the people still stuck in it.
Mhm.
And so if you're really entangled and embroiled in it with all the madness going on, it's hard to heal the people who are still stuck in all that madness. So
Yeah,
like objectively, like be quite frank, I've developed this like I couldn't care because it's all every time you read a headline and you read the next headline,
hmm
it's ridiculous, and you see all the grooming that's going on, and it's like, whatever, they can try.
yeah. The world is in a state. There's a tension that is in the air that is very unhealthy to a lot of people. Which is why I try to tell everybody that I meet, like, flash a smile every once in a while. It might make a difference, a very small difference, but at least some difference is being held. But I
Like a
think people are,
connection, like
yeah,
moving out of isolation to a state of interconnectivity.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have gone into a shell state or incubation state or resting state or whatever you want to call that. And a lot of people during that time felt that the safest place was to withdraw and stay at home and stay away from people. Because during that time, we saw a lot of judgment. We saw a lot of negativity. It's like negativity had a grip on society, right? You had
Sure
tribes,
it
you
is.
had factions, tribalism, and all sorts of stuff. And I suppose the question that I'm going to ask you is, if you are in that state for more than a year, it becomes the new normal for you.
It becomes adrenal exhaustion. It becomes fight or flight to the extreme.
Hmm.
Basically, your body loses the ability to repair itself because it is just so exhausted.
Yeah, how do you get people out of that hypervigilant state and back to the normal state? Because honestly, Shawn, let me tell you something, right? I ask people on every broadcast, can you remember 2013, 2012, 2013? Can you remember how you felt, what you did? Where were you during those times? And now look at your life and see how it's squeezed down. What is the answer? How do we get people back to the state of interconnectivity that you spoke about?
This might sound like a bleak answer, but a lot of the time, I'm just going to leave them to their devices for a little bit longer. I don't know what kind of timeout they be needing, but if they need a timeout, I'll give them their timeout until they can find their rock bottom. And then they'll come say hello. They'll say, you know what? I'm wallowing in my own emotions in my own little bachelor pad or house or whatever they've been doing. But I'm frankly to a point where I'll just let them be. Like I'll just keep doing having fun. Eventually they'll just hopefully shake out of it. Then they realize that, oh, all the plastic shields have came down. Oh, people are going to the park and having picnics. Oh, there's fireworks outside and everything's not canceled anymore. Things are just happening.
Did you go to Caravana?
No, I didn't go to Caravana.
Okay, just asking. Right. All right. The final question I have on this topic is, with regard to holistic medicine, what should people be looking for in a practitioner,
Hmm.
and what should be red flags for them?
Okay, well, I'll start with there is no right and wrong type of practitioner. Like we're going at the infinite. And the way I've been taught and I like to think about things is there's three different types of practitioners. You have a military practitioner who's going to tell you what to do, and the person's just going to do it. And some people really want to see a military practitioner. They just want to be told what to do and be forced upon them. And then you have the teaching practitioners who they kind of you learn new knowledge. The person's trying to learn new things, integrate them, and trying to be able to heal themselves a little bit and grow. And some people really like those. And then you have the shaman practitioners. And the funniest thing about that is that it's the hardest and easiest, and you really don't have to do anything. You just got to give them the smile at the grocery store. You just got to come in with that energy, and they pick that energy up like that, and people can make extreme changes. So something that I will recommend is just try to be aware of what type of practitioner you've been going to. Have they been military? Have they been teachers? Or have you been going to see shamans? Which ones?
Okay.
And everyone uses different ones at different times.
Okay. And what are the red flags of a practitioner?
Red flags is because sometimes you might not need a military practitioner.
Mhm.
Sometimes you got to step out of the being told what to do and you got to start thinking for yourselves. So if you've been one of the persons who's been going to a military practitioner for way too long, and these are typical in normal hospital settings, but if you've been going it for way too long, shake it up a little bit. You got to switch to either a healing practitioner, like a teaching practitioner, or a shaman practitioner.
Okay.
So just shake it up a little bit.
All right, that makes sense. All right, I am going to do the daily giveaway right now, guys. For those of you
Woo!
wondering what the daily giveaway is for today, I am going to give you guys access to a piece of software that will allow you to make videos for your business
Ooh.
for a total of 10 days. For 10 days, you can make as many videos as you want. Yes, you heard that right. So, first of all, I'm going to share the screen,
Such a good skill, everybody.
and you have 10 seconds. 9,
Get in
8,
there.
7, 6, 5, 4,
4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
and 1.
1.
All right, Shawn, tell us what you have going on and give us a way to contact you.
All right, so I'm opening up my local healing practice in Toronto. So anybody from Toronto's out there, you can come and see me actually in about 1 month. In about 1 month, the doors will be opening in East Toronto. My website is myinfinitehealth.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And for everyone who's not from Canada, CA means Canada. So myinfinitehealth.ca, that's where you can find me. My email's on there. You can get a hold of me, ask me questions, and I'll try to do my best to answer.
And Shawn's email is on screen right now, going at the bottom. I put that up there for you guys if you guys want to get in touch with Shawn. If you cannot watch this broadcast for whatever reason, you can contact me at info@universalcitizentv.com looking for Shawn, and I'll put you in touch with Shawn. I assume that Shawn is going to have offerings in the future for those of you
That's
who
right.
want to learn. For those of you who want to learn more about anything TCM, or just develop some strategies for becoming healthier. This has been an interesting discussion. Shawn, thank you so much for coming out.
My pleasure. And for everyone watching, and this is not to sound pretentious, but I'm just starting up and you can watch me grow because it is going to be happening and you'll see the steps along the way. So and there'll be online things in the future and just watch it happen.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Guys,
thanks, David.
we'll see you guys next week.
This meditation will aid in your recovery. If you've been experiencing cancer or any other serious illness in your life, this will aid in your recovery. I'm a spiritual counselor specializing in cases of trauma and illnesses. I practice out of the broom closet in Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm here to help you on your journey of healing and here to help you delve in, activate, and work with your body's natural healing capabilities. And
so very tired. 19 and so very tired. So relaxed. And you.
Hello there. My name is Juliet Karaman van Schardenberg, and I want to welcome you to another meditation to help you reduce anxiety and stress. Now again, I'd like you to take a moment, relax, settle down